Hello, my greenhouse friends. This is Jersey Shore Lisa from greenhouseyard.com, and this is May 14th, 2021. It's the first spring with the greenhouse built from old windows and old slider doors. You can see that I've upgraded the fan that I have in the greenhouse. It's a window fan that fits inside the window, so I don't have to have it on a shelf inside the greenhouse. And I've just used 2 pieces of insulation on either side of the fan to close the gap so that there's very little open space. The only thing is that when I have the fan off, these holes are fairly large, and I think wasps and things will be able to get through. So I need to get a piece of screen and wrap the outside of the fan in screen, and then I think that'll do a good job in keeping the insects out of the greenhouse. And then we'll come around the front. You can see that the slider doors make up the front wall. And I have a rain barrel set up and ready to go. I have not yet installed the gutter on the front of the greenhouse on the bottom slope of the roof. I need to do that and direct the gutter to collect the rainwater into the rain barrel. That's the next step, right? We have the screen door. It's just one of those magnetic screen doors that also helps to keep out the bugs. And I also have this little adjustable universal screen because I actually looked into buying screens for all the windows, and they were just cost prohibitive. They were too expensive, probably about $50 a screen. So these little adjustable screens, however, they're great. They're only about $5-10 a piece at Home Depot. So let's take a look inside and see what's growing. It is really hot in here today. This thermometer, I don't know that it's like 130 degrees in the greenhouse. Once it gets above 100 degrees on that thermometer, it just goes all the way down, and so I don't know how accurate it is at this point. But boy, I'm kind of a mess doing this greenhouse. I'm a messy person. Look at all the dirt and the soil and stuff on the baker's rack potting bench. But these are some cuttings that I've been potting up. There's dappled willow cuttings in there for the natural rooting hormone. And then there's also you can see some great roots forming on the elderberry cuttings. So I've been potting those up, and you can see those down here. We're creating some new elderberry bushes. We have some more over here on this side. These are elderberries as well. And we have some squash starts and little tomato starts that are getting going. They're kind of taking their time. They're taking a while to get going. I tried putting a pineapple top in a glass jar, but it's just too hot in here for that to really get started, I think. And I don't think I'm changing the water enough in there. But look at this in-ground bed. That is doing real well. I have some lettuce going, and kale, and parsley, and there's some basil too. And you can see that the artichokes have started to come up. I'm going to try and keep those over winter. This is zone 7A in Ocean County, New Jersey, so they are not perennial if they're kept out in the garden, but maybe in the greenhouse they'll do okay. We'll see. I may put a hoop over this, like a row cover, over this bed to give it an extra layer of protection through the winter. That's probably what I'm going to do, because I'd like to try and keep this turmeric and the ginger going over winter as well. So that's going to be the experiment. There's a few more elderberry on that shelf there And then I have this hanging topsy-turvy tomato planter that's doing real well. That's a big boy tomato in there, and it sure is a big boy for this time of year. Those will probably be my first tomatoes in the yard. I also have some other tomato starts that I potted up. I got those in little 6-packs at Lidl in earlier in the season, and I potted those up into some old yogurt containers, and they're doing great. They want to get out into the garden, but I've already put out so many tomato plants. I think I might have to trade these with some garden friends and see if they have any other plants that I don't have. I have some chamomile starts going. There's some marigolds back there. Let's see. I've got some peppers and more marigolds, and these are some little eggplant starts. So here is my bucket of seed starting mix, and I have some watering cans in the greenhouse. I don't have a specific floor in mind for the greenhouse yet. This floor is just mulch and soil. It's basically what was here before the greenhouse was here. I haven't decided what I'm going to put on the floor yet. I've been thinking about bringing in some rock, but I might just leave it the way it is. The only issue is that sometimes, especially when the greenhouse is getting filled with plants, now I've planted a lot out, but I did have quite a few pots on the floor of the greenhouse, and I'm watering those pots, and I feel like when I do that, I'm more likely to have weeds growing in the greenhouse along the floor. And I don't know that I really want to deal with that. You could see a little oak tree coming up there in the corner by the screen door. So I may decide to put in a floor. I may leave it the way it is. It's not really bothering me, but there is the potential for weed growth in the future. I just wanted to give you guys a little update so you can see what's happening in the greenhouse. I did have, in earlier videos, you could see that this gap between the wall and the ceiling, I had some pipe insulation tucked in there. And then one day I thought to myself, what am I doing that for? I can just put in another horizontal strut. The 1x2 piece of pine, along with those plastic pieces that are the same shape as the roof. I haven't done it on that side. You could still see the pipe insulation on that side. I still have to do it there. Along the short walls, I just have 2x2s. They fit in that space, and I'm able to screw directly through the plastic roof into the 2x2s. You can see them on this side. And that fills that space perfectly. The insulation would have worked really well. I would have been happy with that, but it does get compressed after a while, and then it kind of shifts out of that space, especially on windy days. So it was getting too drafty, especially when it was cold. Now I feel like my biggest issue and the biggest struggle that I'll have is to keep the temperature down in the greenhouse over the summer. It gets really hot in here. So the good thing is that the greenhouse is shaded for most of the morning by these oak trees that are above our heads until at least about 11:30, 12 o'clock. So that's great, because in the winter, when it really needs the sunlight and that passive heat that we can have building in the greenhouse during the day, those oak trees aren't leafed out and there's plenty of sun all day long. But now in the greenhouse, as it gets warmer, as the season progresses, we can experience that shade in the morning that'll keep the greenhouse relatively cool through the morning hours. So it's just late afternoon where the greenhouse really kind of heats up, but that fan does a lot to help keep the circulation going. Let me know if you have any questions. I think that this is going really well, and I'm so happy that we built this greenhouse out of old windows, and I hope you like it and that you're inspired and that you're growing food in your gardens this year. Please leave me a comment. If you have a greenhouse built from old windows, leave me a comment. Let me know where I can see pictures of your project and know how your greenhouse is working out for you. Please subscribe to the channel and like the video, and I'll talk to you soon. Thanks so much for watching. Bye-bye.